It's been 267 days since the Washington Nationals claimed victory in Game 7 of last year's World Series. Never in the league's long history has there been such a stretch without Major League Baseball. Tonight, our national pastime returns, but in a way nobody could have seen coming just a few short months ago. No fans, no high fives, but no problem, because baseball is back. And welcome to opening night baseball on ESPN. The New York Yankees and the Washington Nationals are telecast presented by John Deere. Watching at home with you, literally on TV, Matt Vasgersian, Alex Rodriguez. From here in the studio, this is where we'll be calling the game tonight and for the foreseeable future. We are happy to be anywhere talking about baseball. And Alex, it's 60 games. There are changes this year on the field, but there's a lot to be excited about.
Man, it's exciting. It is special. It is opening day. If you're a kid, you feel like you're going back to Disney World. It's going to be a year of adjustment and not a lot of time to adjust.
And certainly a year where nobody can afford a slow start. The one like the eventual World Series champion Washington Nationals had to endure in order to get to the big prize last year. Yeah, they started out 19-31. There was talk of Dave Martinez possibly losing his job. But when they got hot, they stayed hot. A 74-38 stretch, which rode them all the way to the playoffs, where, by the way, they had some real postseason magic. 5-0 in their elimination games. They won the first ever title in franchise history, dating back to the Montreal days. We know the Nationals are going to look different this year. Anthony Rendon's in Anaheim. Ryan Zimmerman opted out. He's at home. First time he hasn't been on an opening day roster in 14 years. And they got bad news today that will make them look even more different.
That's right, Matt. Their superstar, Juan Soto, tested positive for COVID-19. Dave Martinez told us earlier today he found out about 9 a.m. In a short 60-game season, a sprint, not a marathon, this could be a devastating blow for the champs.
Boy, without some real heavy hitters against a Yankee team that is loaded once again in 2020. Last year's Yankees came very close. Yes, they celebrated another great year. Power was at the core, and there were a lot of guys going deep. They survived 39 injured list stints, most of any team in baseball. They won a title in the AL East for the first time since 2012, took the Astros down to the wire in a 6-game ALCS loss, and the Yankees are once again considered among the favorites in all of baseball.
They are a juggernaut. The Yankees are the total package. Aaron Boone going into his third season, back-to-back 100-win seasons. Some people say they needed one big piece to win a world championship. Well, what did Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman do? They went out and got this guy, Mr. Garrett Cole.
They wrote a big piece. Wrote a big check to get that big piece, and it's two big stars on the mound opposing one another tonight. Yeah, the 60-game and 60-day sprint is moments away. Some of the game's elite talent taking center stage. The defending World Series champs and the biggest brand in all of sports coming up in the opener next.
All's quiet in Cooperstown. In normal times, baseball reaches July with the season in full swing. The dog days looming, and fans gathering here for the new Hall of Fame class. This year hasn't been normal, but these corridors carry reminders of how baseball has endured It's opening day for a different kind of season. More at stake on every pitch. A playoff feel from beginning to end.
Have all the fun you want. Did he get it? Yes, he did. That was awesome. A World Series Curly W is in the books.
At last, the spirit of the game is in the air and in our hearts again.
And welcome back to ESPN's opening day coverage. Never before have we been so excited for baseball. How'd she get in there? It's the New York Yankees and the Washington Nationals. No fans, but once game time comes, and we are moments away from it, Max Scherzer will remind us that we can watch this game under any circumstance and enjoy it. Let's take a look at the New York Yankees State Farm starting lineup tonight for the season opener. They'll lead it off with Aaron Hicks, who made the quickest comeback from Tommy John surgery in the history of the operation. We'll talk about that as we get cooking. Judge, Torres, and Stanton make out a meaty 2 through 4. Brett Gardner hit in the middle of the lineup in that 5 spot a number of occasions last year. He's in there after a career home run year last season. Gary Sanchez, Luke Voigt gets the nod at first. Gio Urshela after a career 2019. And Tyler Wade at second base. DJ LeMahieu just a couple of days away. Not ready for baseball activity tonight yet after testing positive for COVID-19. And on the mound for the defending World Series champs, the 3-time Cy Young Award winner, Max Scherzer.
Has all 4 pitches, Matty. He's got a fastball, cutter, slider, changeup, occasional get me over curveball, and you might hear him grunt.
Grunting and snarling his way through a postseason. Who could forget his gritty performance in Game 7 of the World Series? And the season is underway in D.C. And you're going to see a lot of that, by the way. That ball got thrown out for ceremonial purposes. But with the protocols in place, there is an estimate that we might use more baseballs this season in a 60-game schedule than ever before.
That's a good point.
Ball and no strikes to Aaron Hicks, and it's 2 balls and no strikes on the switch-hitting leadoff man for the New York Yankees. You had the number earlier. An average game uses what, 10 to 12 dozen baseballs?
Yeah, they're expecting about 24 dozen, double as many.
Whew. On the inside corner to make it 2 balls and a strike to Aaron Hicks. Yeah, you will notice, and for fans that didn't watch many of the exhibition games in Spring Training 2.0 or Summer Camp as it was known, you will notice a lot of the protocols in place in the dugouts. Certainly no fans. That jumps out at you as a breaking pitch is taken for a strike. You do hear, however, the sounds of a quote-unquote normal baseball game. The PAs are piping in crowd noise, if you will, that came from the video game MLB The Show. There are organists, there are PA announcers, everything to make this as normal as possible as Hicks lines the ball to second base. New net Starlin Castro is there for the first out of 2020. You know, for the New York Yankees, Alex, the fact that the season began a lot later than anybody ever expected could in one sense be seen as a blessing, because had the season begun in late March, guys like Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, and a few others would not have been healthy enough to play in the season's first few weeks.
It's given them an opportunity to get healthy. Judge in particular has been swinging the bat really well. 3 home runs in 2 days last week.
Time in May and April gave him a chance to heal up. A rib fracture, a punctured lung. He was slowed by injuries last year and certainly in the spring of this year. That man, Gio Stanton, lost an entire season virtually last year due to a couple of IL stints. A ball and a strike to count Aaron Judge. And that one's ripped into left field, the first base hit of 2020. So, Alex, there are not a lot of people in the ballpark vital personnel, uniform personnel, the folks needed to kind of run things, and our Buster Olney, who somehow found an open gate and made his way into the ballpark. Buster, it's got to be a weird experience in there.
That's the perfect word. Joe Panik of the Toronto Blue Jays said that word to me the other day about being in a ballpark without fans. Look, Max Scherzer said that it's the great unknown about this competition. He says that he's mentally preparing for pitching without fans, and he feels like the greatest source of adrenaline is going to be the competition, but it's going to be different. You know, as I was walking in the ballpark today, you normally walk through the sea of people, the smells, the grill, the popcorn, the chicken, the hot dogs. It's so different.
Ball and a strike. The count to Gleyber Torres, batting with 1 out, 1 on here in the top of the first. For you, Alex, I mean, look, guys are used to playing in front of sparse crowds, as that happens on the road occasionally for a team like the Yankees, never at home. Guys played in the minors in front of small, intimate gatherings, but nothing like this. How do you think you would handle something like this as a player?
You know, it's a lot like playing in high school. I mean, high school you're playing with under 200 people. College, you maybe get into thousands, but baseball players are used to playing in small crowds. I was speaking to Gleyber Torres last night, who's at the plate now. He said, Alex, we have to get ourselves going mentally and push ourselves, because in New York, the fan base is such a big part of our routine and our game and the energy.
2 balls and 2 strikes. The count to Gleyber Torres, who has gone through a position re-switch for 2020. Came up as a shortstop. Most of his time as a Yankee had been spent at second base until Didi Gregorius was allowed to leave via free agency and sign with the Philadelphia Phillies, reuniting with Joe Girardi. So Torres goes back to shortstop for 2020 and beyond. 2 balls and 2 strikes to him with a man aboard. Contact, soft contact at that. Trey Turner's got his man at first. There are 2 away. You know, for most of the pundits, Alex, it was health that was the only thing standing in the Yankees' way this year. In other words, the only thing that could stop the Yankees from the World Series would be the Yankees. Is that how you kind of view this team as well?
I did, and look, they were missing that big piece. I remember in 08, we needed a big horse. Well, we got 2. We got CC Sabathia and A.J. Burnett. Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman went out and said, let's spend our resources and get one of the best pitchers in the game in his prime. And Garrett Cole, I think, is theirs to lose this year.
There's Giancarlo Stanton now. And, you know, if you thought this guy looked like an athlete in previous years, including his National League MVP season of 2017, this is the leanest, meanest version of Giancarlo Stanton that we've ever seen.
Leaner and sweeter. When you talk to personnel of the Yankees, he's in great spirits, in tremendous shape, and he has not been able to stay healthy for the first 2 seasons in 162. If he stays healthy in 60, in 1 stroke, he may win Comeback Player of the Year and MVP for the Yanks.
Just 18 games last season, a couple of very difficult IL stints really prevented him from accomplishing much of anything. Frustrating season for Stanton indeed. Stanton with a drive out to left center field, and just like that, the Yankees have jumped in front. 2-0 New York. Had there been fans in the ballpark, it was a guy that bought the worst seat that would have gotten that souvenir.
And that souvenir may sit there for another 8.5 innings. And we talked about leaner and sweeter. This is 96 miles an hour, just a sweet swing, a more flexible Stanton, a more fluid Stanton, and that's the MVP swing that the New York Yankees acquired from the Marlins.
Well, the Yankees hit a bunch of home runs last year. Their total of 306, just 1 short of the Minnesota Twins, who made history with 307 last year. Here's Brett Gardner now, squaring around to bunt after the homer. Speaking of the home run, Brett Gardner connected on a career best 28 last year. and I think somebody just retrieved that baseball. One lucky wanderer. He's going to get all of them tonight, by the way.
You know, for Stanton, 96-mile-an-hour fastball, nearly 460 feet in that home run. And you think about the contrast of how he started his Yankee career at Yankee Stadium with 5 strikeouts, some boos on the opener at Yankee Stadium, and the next day, what'd he do? Come back, 450-foot home run. Better start for Stanton.
Changeup misses outside, and it's 2 balls and a strike to Brett Gardner. I mean, this is what the Yankees envisioned when they went out and got him, right? This murderer's row redo, if you will, to borrow from their own franchise history. Still working that outside corner now. Scherzer falling behind 3-1.
That's Stanton's 21st home run at Nationals Park, most of any other player.
Yeah, he did a lot of damage in this place as a Florida Marlin. Full count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And Matty, if you think about some of the players that you think about who can benefit from no fans in the stands, it could be a guy like Stanton in his 3rd year. Quiet the noise, eliminate the white noise, see ball, hit ball. This could be a very big year, a sprint, not a marathon.
Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Brett Gardner. Already 2-0 Yankees in D.C. tonight, and Max Scherzer has his first strikeout of the year. Not before he yields his first homer of the season. A monster shot by Giancarlo Stanton. It gives new Yankee Garrett Cole a lead to make his Yankee debut. Well, Garrett Cole last season had a historic exit in Houston. 25 straight starts without a loss. Double-digit strikeouts in 11 in a row. A minuscule postseason ERA. And a franchise record 373 strikeouts. That's what he took with him from Houston to the Big Apple on a monster 9-year contract that was the talk of the early offseason. 20-5 overall last year. There were 17 pitchers who won at least 15 games last season. Cole was the only one who changed uniforms, and his Yankee career is underway with a 2-0 lead under his belt. We'll go through the starting lineup of the Washington Nationals in just a moment. Cole was the talk of last year and the talk of the offseason after the big deal.
He is the total package, perfect motion, fastball, slider, changeup. The biggest difference, Matty, and the biggest adjustment in his career, he's gone from going east to west to north to south, more out of the Nolan Ryan book of pitching. Like that.
Up and into Trey Turner to make it a 2-1 count to start the bottom of the first. 2-run homer by Giancarlo Stanton in the first inning has given the Yankees an early lead tonight.
Something to watch at home is the first 20 pitches, the cadence and the chemistry between Garrett and Gary. What you want to see is a lot of nodding, a lot of yes, good cadence, attacking. What you don't want to see if you're a Yankee fan is a lot of shaking, disrupting of timing. You want these two to get along. It could be indicative for a great season for the New York Yankees.
3 balls and a strike to the speedy Trey Turner, who pops into shallow left center field. Aaron Hicks has got it, and that gives us a chance to post the Washington Nationals State Farm starting lineup as their World Series defense is officially underway. It was a capable group last year, but it looks a lot different this season. You add Starlin Castro and Eric Thames, and you subtract Anthony Rendon. You subtract a number of big bats like Ryan Zimmerman and Juan Soto, who's replaced by Andrew Stevenson tonight. Again, Alex had the news earlier that Juan Soto, after a positive COVID-19 test, is in the protocol, not available tonight for the foreseeable future. Big blow to the Nationals, and one that Dave Martinez kind of announced to us earlier today with a very heavy heart. You could see the look of concern in his face.
Absolutely.
So now it's Adam Eaton with 1 gone. A 2-0 count to Adam Eaton. Hit a couple of World Series homers. There is Dave, who, boy, you talk about from the pit to the pinnacle, from 1931 last year to a Commissioner's Trophy. 2-1 to Eaton. You know, so much is said about the World Series hangover, Alex. The months that open your World Series defense campaign, because you play the extra innings into October. Those innings were avoided, right? Because they had all that time away.
That's right. They're fresh. They're strong. And, you know, when you talk about a World Series hangover, what that means is you end your season usually in early November, and then you extend, and you're invited here, and you're invited there, and you're filming commercials, and you have all these distractions. Everyone's celebrating what you did in the past. And as a player, you always want to focus on what's ahead. All that is now behind. Nationals are ready to go, and those power pitchers are rested.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Adam Eaton. Well, and for Garrett Cole, I mean, his side did not claim the World Series title, but if there were a hangover on the losing side, you could understand it from a guy who logged so many innings the last couple of years, and postseason innings at that as well. But everybody close to Garrett refers to him to as close to a perfect, polished pitcher as is humanly possible. Developing a relationship with his new pitching coach, Matt Blake, who is new to the job himself. Two balls and 2 strikes to count to Adam Eaton. A chance to visit with Matt on the phone this week, and I asked him, you know, how do you, as a guy that was coaching in high school 5 years ago, how do you deal with Cole? It's a long one out to right, and Adam Eaton gets the champs on the board.
Another fastball, 98 miles an hour, down in the zone. Look at this ball, it's down. That's the only place where both these pitchers can't get hurt. His fastball's down. Eaton get his foot down. Great finish. And it sounds great normally. It's going to sound even better in an empty stadium. The sounds of baseball are magnificent.
Boy, Cole knew it as soon as it left the hand, too. Here's Starlin Castro, picks on the first pitch for round number 2. You know, I was talking about Matt Blake and his new relationship with Garrett Cole, and Matt told me that one of the first things Garrett told him was, you know, last year it was great, everybody made a big deal about it. I walked too many guys and they gave up too many homers.
Wow.
Not true of anybody else's standards, but right for Garrett Cole, he felt like there was some improvement to be had. So the Eaton homer cuts the Yankee lead in half, and here is perhaps one of the biggest postseason stars from 2019, the veteran DH tonight, Howie Kendrick.
And again, Matty, something to watch tonight is you want to see the relationship between Gary and Garrett at the mound, and you also want to see Garrett Cole and Angel Hernandez, the veteran umpire behind home plate. Early on, it could be indicative of how this game goes.
Yeah, Angel Hernandez in his 27th year as a major league umpire, and he is a interim crew chief because there were some umpires that actually opted out of the 2020 season over the COVID concerns. And Cole gets a call on the outside corner. Nothing further after the homer, but Adam Eaton's first of 2020 has made it a 2-1 Yankee lead after just an inning of play. Telecast of opening night baseball is presented by John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer. Run with us. Dr. Anthony Fauci just a bit outside. That was Baba Booey-esque.
I mean, Dr. Fauci, by the way, a former point guard from New York, just a true hero to so many, and he's been playing point guard for this country.
Ah, very nice. You've been doing some writing during the layoff.
I've been rehearsing that for 2 months. I am so excited to be back.
So is this guy, Gary Sanchez, after a 34 home run campaign last year. Two-time All-Star, leads things off in the Yankee half of the second with Alex Rodriguez, Matt Vasgersian. Great to have you along with us tonight. We are among those most pleased to have baseball back as of today. First game of a doubleheader on ESPN tonight. We have the Giants and Dodgers coming up later. The Dodgers getting the bad news that Clayton Kershaw has been scratched tonight and placed on the injured list, meaning later on tonight Dustin May will become the first Dodger rookie to start an opener since Fernando Valenzuela in 1981. No pressure. And a wave and a miss by Sanchez. Second strikeout for Scherzer tonight. And there's even more coming up tomorrow. 3 more games. Openers for all these teams. Back-to-back Cy Young Award winner Jacob deGrom starts for the Mets against the Braves at 4 Eastern. Then the Brewers take on the Cubs at Wrigley. And in our nightcap, Mike Trout and the Angels take on the Oakland A's. You can watch all 3 games, as always, on the ESPN app. Going to be a good one tomorrow in New York for Mike Soroka, who was so good away from home last year in his rookie campaign. And here's Luke Voit now with 1 gone. Voit managed 21 home runs last season in an injury-shortened 2019. Well, there were people around the Yankees last year, Alex, it felt like Luke Voit was more hurt than he ever really let on. Had off-season surgery, core injuries. And when you consider the severity of that with surgery required, it was amazing he was able to post the numbers that he did.
And he took this time off during the break the past few months and focused on diet and cardio. As a result, he's lost about 15 pounds, looks much slender, and they're very happy where he is right now.
That's 3 straight strikeouts for Max Scherzer.
And this is where Matt Scherzer has a pitch up in the zone. In order for him to be successful, he has to throw the fastball above the belt and the breaking ball down like he did to Sanchez. Much sharper this second inning than in the first.
So 2 gone now for Giovanni Urshela. Backs him up with a breaking ball. Well, since 2012, when the Scherzer era really kicked off, nobody has been more difficult in terms of a swing and miss opponent. It's worth putting those numbers back up there again. Breaking ball swung on and missed this time. Swinging strikeouts. Most strikeouts on a 4-seam fastball. Most 3-pitch strikeouts. Most strikeouts of pitches in the strike zone and out of the strike zone.
When you think about an ace, you're describing Max Scherzer, the total package. This guy is a tremendous baseball player first, who happens to be a great pitcher. Loves to play, loves to talk baseball, loves trash talking. Funny, I was talking to Kevin Long earlier today, the hitting coach of the Nationals, and it was so quiet in the early scrimmages. Kevin Long was saying to one of the hitters, the slider's a little flat. Max Scherzer steps off the off the rubber and says, "Hey Kevin, I know my slider is a little flat," and you can hear everything, which was pretty interesting.
Do you happen to catch any of the Nationals games, the inter squad games that they played? I mean, the image you take away is Max Scherzer right behind the plate as a spectator. It's the Yankees that were spectators in the second. That's 4 straight strikeouts for Max. Still 2-1 New York.
NASA astronaut Chris Cassidy, and welcome to the International Space Station. From outer space to planet Earth, it's time to celebrate the return of America's favorite pastime. Baseball is back, and that's good news. It'll be a season like no other. So let's play ball.
Thanks to Chris Cassidy and the men and women at NASA for the help there. By the way, Chris Cassidy's view of Nationals Park only slightly higher than if you were in the press box at Nationals Park, where you can barely see what's going on. I think we have a better view of the ballpark from here in the studio in Bristol, Connecticut.
Oh, that got him.
Yeah, Eric Thames is hit by a pitch, and the leadoff hitter is aboard to start the home half of the second. Yeah, that's where we would have been under ordinary circumstances. How many times have you watched a game from up there and been, you know, duped on a home run ball?
A few times.
I mean,
yeah.
It's hard to judge distance when you're up there. Leadoff hitter aboard. So instead, we're here in the studio, and we're literally watching the game along with you, America, and it's been fun.
The only thing that'll make it a little better, a little cerveza would be great.
Okay, send somebody out. Chips. Here
Some
we go.
popcorn.
Now we're talking.
Matty, I'm just happy we're watching baseball. This is unbelievable.
I'm with you. Ball and no strikes, the count to Kurt Suzuki with a man on. Eric Thames hit by a pitch to start the inning. You know, by the way, this matchup, and you know, not many of us had 3 runs being scored in the first inning tonight, given the quality of starting pitching. But it's very unusual for the 2 pitchers that matched up to end the season in the final game of the World Series to open the season again the following year. As Suzuki sends a fly ball out to Aaron Judge. It's just the second time in Major League history 2 pitchers started against each other in a season opener after starting against each other in the previous World Series. And this was the pitching line for Max Scherzer and Garrett Cole when last they met in October. The only other time something like this happened, and it was recent history, Edinson Volquez and Matt Harvey. They went at it twice in the 2015 Fall Classic, and then they opened the 2016 season head-to-head. One out, one on now for Asdrubal Cabrera.
You know, Matty, when you face pitchers like Cole and Scherzer, as a hitter, you're going to prepare a little bit more. You're going to watch more films. You're going to know that this game is in prime time and everybody's watching. And if you can hit a ball like Stanton did, those last for weeks, and it gives you confidence. It gives the team momentum. There's no cheap wins or losses against a guy like Garrett Cole. Everybody circles your name. And that is the burden of being an ace. That's what CeCe Sabathia did for the 2009 Yankees. Brought it every 5th day.
Ball and a strike to the 2-time All-Star Asdrubal Cabrera. Well, you were talking about the new relationship with his catcher, with Gary Sanchez, who, let's face it, whose defense has been criticized in the past. He is a bat-first backstop. The Yankees went to some great lengths this winter to try to rebuild him as a defensive project. We're going to bring Buster in on this in a moment. 2 balls and a strike, the count to Cabrera. And he sends a fly ball out to left. Buster, the setup is what we're talking about for Gary Sanchez, and for real Yankee fans that are used to what he looks like back there, they will notice the difference.
A difference with Gary Sanchez dropped to one knee, and the Yankees' thought is that by putting him in that position, he's going to be able to get lower, set a lower target, perhaps be able to frame pitches. Now, you know, there is some natural concerns. How his movement's going to be on balls in the dirt when he's set up that way, but they really feel like this has helped improve his ability to frame pitches on the edges.
Here's Andrew Stevenson now, who draws the card of replacing Juan Soto after the COVID positive test was revealed today. Don't know that Andrew counted on being in the starting lineup last night, but here he is this evening. Yeah, I guess, and Alex, I'm curious your thoughts on this. There are a lot of people in baseball that feel like you're only as good a pitch framer as you have staff to work with. And adding Garrett Cole is automatically going to make Gary Sanchez a better pitch framer.
Yeah, it does, but I think it's overrated. The one knee down, there's pros and cons. You may get an extra strike here and there, but when you're in postseason baseball and 90 feet count, and you face a lineup like the Nationals with Turner at the top and Robles at the bottom, 35 stolen bases at the top with Turner, 28 with Robles, you need to stop the running game. And I don't think that taking a strike here and a strike there is worth the sacrifice, because in order to win in October, you need to stop the running game and you need to keep those balls in front of you as a catcher.
Oh, and 2 to Andrew Stevenson. Well, these numbers amassed over the last 3 seasons, so you know, different coaching staffs in there, different intel working with him, and the passed ball numbers really improved from 2018 to 19.
I'm not a fan of the one knee on the ground. I like catchers to be athletic. I like them to move around, to block balls, and to be able to throw guys out at second base.
And that fastball at 99 miles an hour, foul tip for strike 3. Pair of strikeouts for Garrett Cole, and a still 2-1 Yankee lead.
Since we all can't be at the ballpark this season, MasterCard is creating a priceless baseball experience at home. Check out these lucky fans. They're up on the big screen tonight thanks to MasterCard. Watch for more priceless baseball experiences from MasterCard all season long and start something priceless.
Let's go! Baseball's back!
Hit that ball with a spatula. Back with an empty ballpark, but boy, I'm sure living rooms across the country are tuned in tonight, as ours is. Welcome back, Matt Vasgersian, Alex Rodriguez. Great to have you for Major League Baseball's 2020 season opener, as long awaited as it was, and it has proven entertaining so far. A 2-1 lead, all the runs via the home run ball. Giancarlo Stanton for the Yankees, solo shot by Adam Eaton for the defending World Series champs, and Tyler Wade leads off the visitors' half of the third. Wade, Hicks, and Judge. Tyler Wade making his first opening day start. Now, the Yankees were hopeful that one of their leaders, DJ LeMahieu, would be healthy enough and ready enough to play tonight. He missed significant time being on the COVID-19 restricted list, and DJ is off that list. He's working out, active, but Aaron Boone told us before the game they just feel like he needs a couple more days of baseball activity before he's ready to go.
And a smart move by Booney and the Yanks, being conservative. Here's a guy back-to-back opening days where he's not starting. Last year he almost won the MVP, was the most consistent Yankee. Maybe it'll be the same this year for DJ.
He almost got himself onto a trivia question list too. MVPs not to start on opening day, and not because of an injury. It was manager's decision last year. You see the numbers last season, career year for a guy who had already won a batting title in his major league career.
And a Gold Glove defender.
Three balls and a strike to count to the left-handed hitting Tyler Wade. And a full count now. Max Scherzer has struck out the last 4 Yankees that he's faced. A ways to go, but the major league record for consecutive strikeouts in a game is 10, accomplished by the legendary Tom Seaver back in 1970.
Contrast from the first inning to the second inning. Hicks 106 off the bat, Judge 108, Stanton 112. Second inning, 3 Ks. Getting settled in.
And he loses Wade. Coming up Sunday night, we'll have the final game of a 3-game set between the Braves and Mets at 7 Eastern, and then the series finale of 4 in Los Angeles between the rival San Francisco Giants under new management and the LA Dodgers. Both games on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Again, that Giants-Dodgers series kicks off tonight, part of our opening night doubleheader right after the Nats and Yankees.
In a short season here, Matty, this is where I'd like to see Aaron Boone put the game in motion a little bit. Got a plush runner at first base in Wade, a contact switch hitter at the plate in Hicks. Love to see a little hit and run here.
Hicks grounded out to start the ball game. 0-1 the count to Aaron Hicks. Max Scherzer has gotten a little slider happy here. 5 straight. And when Max puts his mind on something, and Paul Menhart will be the first to tell you, his pitching coach, he is stubborn in the best of ways. He knows himself. Max knows Max better than anybody else. So says his pitching coach. Comes back with a changeup that time, and it's 0-2. I think that in part, Alex, explains the home runs. He is not afraid of giving them up. In fact, won a Cy Young Award the year that he allowed more homers than anybody in the National League.
And I'll explain the reason why, Matty, is great pitchers like Scherzer's, to your point, they're stubborn. They're stubborn, and when you look back at the great ones, whether it's Dwight Gooden or Clemens or Nolan Ryan, all of them gave up the big ball. Why? They thought they were better than you in the strike zone, and that's where they compete, and they want to beat you.
0-2 the count to Aaron Hicks. He's thrown to first a couple times here, but 6 straight sliders dating back to the walk to Tyler Wade that started the inning.
I mean, if you're a pitcher, the last thing you want to do is lead off walk to Wade. Now you got both Aarons coming up, Torres and Stanton. Wow, murder's row. And a 3-2 slider to Wade to walk him. That's something to watch. If you're in the dugout, that should tell you something. That's a good information to intake.
Wade with good speed at first, and the pitch is swung on and missed. And that, folks, is what makes Max Scherzer so nasty. Just a small part of it. The fastball changeup combo is among the best in baseball. Take a look at how long both pitches hold the same plane before they distinguish themselves, right? The changeup darts at the very end, and that fastball just gets right past you.
And I've been at the plate facing Scherzer too many times, and his fastball 97 at the top of the zone and a changeup 84 at the bottom of the zone. Lethal combination.
5 strikeouts for him tonight as he starts Aaron Judge with a swing and a miss.
I mean, here's a guy he's gonna attack you hard. He's gonna strike you in the zone. When he's off, he's gonna give up the long ball, because even when he's off, he's gonna compete in the strike zone. He thinks he's better than you in the strike zone.
Into left, and another base hit for Aaron Judge, making him 2 for 2 to start tonight. Now they're going to try it with Wade, who's got great speed, and he will score without a play. The Yankees take a 3-1 lead.
We talked about the 3-2 slider to Wade to put him on to lead off the inning. Now you throw the fastball up to Judge. And again, lightning quick. And then Wade flying around the bases. The 25-year-old running like a wide receiver. And a really nice job by third base coach Phil Nevin. Very aggressive.
It's Gleyber Torres now with the runner in scoring position, and on the first pitch, it's popped out of play. Let me tell you, everybody with the Yankees, Alex, either there was a tapeworm that got loose in that clubhouse, or everybody's gone on the keto diet or something. Look at Nev. He's back to his prospect size, man.
The first pick in the 1992 draft, he looks back like a first rounder.
All these guys have toned up. 0-1 the count to Gleyber Torres.
Vegan in the Bronx.
Out to shallow right. Castro's got it. Let's put some of the fun bells and whistles on the Stanton homer from the first. StatCast powered by Google Cloud. Give me a guess. Too late. Almost 460.
I mean, you have two guys there in Judge and Stanton that could be playing in the NFL right now. Judge turned down scholarships to Stanford and Notre Dame for baseball. We want more kids playing baseball.
Yeah, I think Stanton had an opportunity to go play tight end at USC, if I'm not mistaken.
There you go.
There's that slider in for a strike. Well, you mentioned earlier how he likes to hit in this ballpark. More homers at Nationals Park than any other visiting player. Oh, that's a dandy. Max Scherzer has thrown only 2 non-sliders this inning. Oh, 0-2 to Stanton with a run in and Judge at second.
Sometimes as a hitter, when you go up there and you hit a 96-mile-an-hour fastball for a home run, you can come back the next at bat and eliminate the fastball and sit soft. 3 in a row soft to Stanton.
Ball and 2 strikes to the 2017 National League MVP. And he struck him out. 2 more punch outs in the inning, yet the Yankees scratch across a run at the end of 2.5, 3-1 New York. You're watching opening night baseball on ESPN, the telecast presented by John Deere. Welcome back. Matt Vasgersian with Alex Rodriguez. No fans in the ballpark, but folks stacking up living rooms across the country. Diamond Dave in Manhattan Beach has this one tuned in among the biggest Yankee fans on the planet. And a pitch that misses in on the hands of third inning leadoff man Victor Robles. Robles, Turner, and Eaton against Garrett Cole, who's back to a 2-run lead thanks to the RBI double off the bat of Aaron Judge in the top of the inning. So nobody in the ballpark, as we mentioned, except for Buster Olney. But there are people on the edges, if you will, around the perimeter.
Full house in the hotel.
You know, Buster, we're all wondering as Soto is unable to check the swing and there's one gone. We're all wondering, we know that the players have to social distance, right? They can't jam up in the dugouts, and clubhouses are not what they would ordinarily be. Where is everybody sitting to watch the game?
Well, they built areas that extend beyond the dugouts toward the outfield. On each side, you see some players drifting in and out of those. You actually see some players sitting in seats behind home plate during some of the inter-squad games the Nationals have been playing. Max Scherzer's been sitting there. But this is an adjustment period. I asked Davey Martinez, okay, what's the health and safety protocol you've struggled with the most? And he talks about how He's caught himself several times drinking his water through his mask, and then he thought to himself, okay, that's not going to work. Joe Panik of the Toronto Blue Jays told me that he's used to licking his fingers before throwing the ball. He's got to stop doing that. I did notice on the home runs a lot of violations, health and safety protocol when it came to high fives and the like.
Are you going to be that guy, Buster? Are you going to be the guy that's...
No, I'm not going to be that guy. No.
Well, it's,
There'll be no hotline from my spot, Matt.
Alex, you can speak to this better than any of us. I mean, Major League Baseball players are creatures of habit, right?
They are. And one thing is, though, when Dr. Fauci says wear a mask and stay 6 feet away, I listen. But, it's the little things, Matt. It's the sunflower seeds, as you can't chew gum. You can't lick your fingers. All those things, creature of habits. Remember, can't high five here. Oh. Almost. But in a season, you usually play 200 games in 232 days. And it's hard to change habits. I mean, guys like Scherzer, who's 35, they've been doing it for a long time. It will be a season of adjustments and not a lot of time to adjust.
First pitch breaking ball taken for a strike by Adam Eaton, the man who touched up Cole in the first on the solo homer. 2 gone, bases empty for him. 3-1 Yankees. I don't know that we'll see it used tonight. In fact, I have not noticed the league sanctioned wet rag, right? Because pitchers are not supposed to go to their mouths to, re-get that grip. A lot of pitchers do that kind of habitually. There's no such move that's sanctioned this year, so pitchers can have a 5x7 microfiber in their back pocket only. Can't be anywhere else. It can have water only upon it, and if a pitcher goes to it often enough, the umpire is given license to go out there and check to make sure that there isn't motor oil or soft drink on it or some other nefarious substance that's going to make the ball dance around like Ray Milan.
Just a tremendous job by the players, by the clubs, coming together with all of this protocol, the leadership from both sides to come to the table, be first sport. It's just a tremendous job by everybody. Baseball should be very, very proud.
1-2 pitch to Eaton is sent out to right field. Not quite enough on this one. And Judge has it for a 1-2-3 inning. To the fourth, 3-1 New York. Presented by John Deere is brought to you by MasterCard. All season long, MasterCard brings you priceless baseball experiences at home. Just search for #PricelessBaseball to learn more. MLB.TV brings you every regular season out-of-market game of the 2020 season, live or on demand. Watch the game's biggest and brightest stars every night on MLB.TV. Stream games, highlights, and recaps in high definition online and on your favorite devices. Blackouts and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Brett Gardner leads things off in the Yankee half of the fourth. The 5, 6, 7 batters for Aaron Boone's visiting Yankees. Gardner, Sanchez, and Voit. New York on top 3-1 as we start the fourth. And a fastball is in for a strike. Brett Gardner playing in his 1,500th career game as a Yankee tonight. He will pass the man 6 feet to my left, Alex Rodriguez, on the all-time games played list sometime next week. And Max Scherzer is the beneficiary of a generous strike zone on that occasion.
And a changeup that looked away to me, at least 2 or 3 inches. Balls away. Gardy feels pretty good about taking it, and then he doesn't. Angel Hernandez has expanded on both sides of the box, outside of both. As a hitter, You have to be cognizant of that and be a little bit more aggressive early in the count.
Gary Sanchez swinging aggressively, a 0-1 count to him. Gardner with 2 plate appearances and a couple of strikeouts tonight. But again, not to snooze on that number. 1,500 games as a Yankee. And as we mentioned, you're next up on the list with 1,509, but that's 18th on the all-time list. And Brett Gardner, as we know, is the last holdover from the 09 World Series championship team that you were a part of. He is the senior statesman in New York.
And he's the heart and soul of that team, the leader. He's tough, he's strong. Now in his late 30s, still in tremendous shape. Very vocal leader.
Ball and 2 strikes to Gary Sanchez. Six punch outs for Max Scherzer so far tonight. Make it 7 as he gets Sanchez to swing and miss.
These fudge brownie M&Ms are really fudgy.
Yes, they are.
To put a fudge brownie center in an M&M's is...
Genius. I know.
I was going to say hard.
Why won't you?
Why won't you go in?
New fudge brownie M&Ms.
Well, Max Scherzer struck out the side in the second. He has punched out the first 2 that he's faced here in the fourth, and now it's Luke Voit with the bases empty. This is more like what we expected, right? Not the homers in the first. We expected starting pitching to dominate tonight.
And domination is at the top of the zone for both these guys. You want fastball above the belt. That's the blind spot, especially for guys with power. Once you speed them up, then you go under the knees with your secondary stuff, changeups and sliders.
Just like that, he's in front of Luke Voit 0-2. Voit was one of those that struck out in a K in order second.
12 Ks last year on the opener against the Mets, against DeGrom. On his way this year.
Well, through his first 12 seasons, over 2,600 strikeouts. And in terms of strikeouts per 9, only a couple of Hall of Famers have bigger career numbers than Max Scherzer. Backs up Voit. In fact, Scherzer is second only to Randy Johnson's 10.61 strikeouts per 9 innings. Hall of Famer on the left, Hall of Famer on the right, future Hall of Famer in the middle.
Watching those 3 guys just got me in a slump.
And Voit puts it in play. Small victory in of itself. Despite the big punch-out totals, it's Scherzer trailing the Yankees 3-1. Let's do it. Let's do it. Three to 1 Yankees as our series opener coverage continues from D.C. and the ESPN studios. Matt Vasgersian, Alex Rodriguez, good to have you along with us. Social distancing away from the ballpark along with everybody else who wanted to be there tonight. As Starlin Castro leads things off in the fourth, Castro, Kendrick, and Thames here for the defending World Series champs. Well, so far so good in the Yankee debut of Garrett Cole. The only little mini blemish, the solo homer by Adam Eaton in the first. He does have a 3-1 lead early on tonight. That will be a familiar sight. The Nationals not among the teams, Alex, that chose to fill the seats, if you will, behind home plate with cardboard cutouts. They're keeping that area open for players if they should choose to go out there and sit and socially distance. The Dodgers, conversely, are one of the teams that have the cardboard cutouts. You'll see that later on tonight. Second game of our doubleheader on opening day. Dodgers and Giants. There's a fly ball for Aaron Judge and one away. So base is empty for one of the Nationals' real postseason heroes from their World Series run of a year ago, Howie Kendrick. Game 5 of the division series, the NLDS that is, shocked the world with the homer that lifted them over the Dodgers. Bigger shock came with his opposite field shot in Game 7 of the Fall Classic. And then the now infamous car ride he took with Adam Eaton, sit down, pop the clutch, and win a World Series.
You know, Matty, talking to Kevin Long, the hitting coach of the Nationals, he says simply, he is our leader. He's our vocal leader. He leads with action, gets better with age, spreads the ball line to line, will always give you a professional at bat. And all the players revere him in that clubhouse. Just a tremendous human being and a great hitter.
2-0 pitch to him's fouled away. Well, among teams that stand to benefit the most, National League teams, by the universal DH, right? Cardinals can play Matt Carpenter every day. Cubs can get Schwarber in there every day. The Nationals are right there in that group because they have a body like Howie Kendrick, who they'd like to keep off his feet defensively as an older player, but they can't live without the bat, especially with some of the other absences that they're dealing with.
Yeah, great point. Kendrick's a guy that would have played 2 or 3 days a week. Now he's going to play 5 or 6 days a week. Dave Martinez loves having his seniority in that lineup.
Jam shot up the middle that Wade is able to gobble up. Tweet using hashtag Bud Light Homers sweepstakes and tag your favorite team for your chance to win a 2020 home run ball. So Howie Kendrick DHing tonight, but this man Eric Thames, imported in from Milwaukee, will do his share of DHing this year as well. And on that topic, Alex, where are you with the universal DH?
Love it.
We'll talk about that as we continue. The quickest of innings authored by Garrett Cole. Still 3-1 New York.
The kick in, here it comes. Swing and a miss! A World Series Game 7 winning Curly W is in the books. The Washington Nationals are the world champions.
First in franchise history, such a satisfying moment for the Nationals and for their manager Dave Martinez, who opened out of the gate last year in pretty rough shape. We had a chance to visit with Davey just a moment ago, and we asked him about the news that Juan Soto had tested positive. We asked him about it just a moment ago. So you guys get the bad news today on Juan Soto. Dave, for our audience, just walk us through the timeline and what you said to Juan.
Yeah, I found out this morning that he tested positive. I told him, hey, just hang in there. He was asymptomatic. He feels good. We're going to do everything we can to get him back as soon as possible. But, hey, we all knew this coming into this 2020 season that these things may happen. So, I told the players, hey, let's just be positive. Let's hope that he gets back here and he comes back and helps us win.
Hey, Davey, congrats, obviously, in last year. You have now a chance to defend the title. No Rondon, no Zimmerman, no Soto. Who do you look to step up and be the leader of this team early on?
For me, we still got Howie here. You got Zook, you got Max, Strauss. I mean, these guys are really good leaders, man. And they come out every day and they compete every day. And that's all I can ask.
Dave, thanks for the time. Best of luck this year, man. I mean, it's just been a series of obstacles in front of the Nationals, dating back to last year. The bad start that they survived and eventually conquered, and again, more adversity this year. Giovanni Urshela leading things off in the Yankee half of inning number 5. Urshela, Wade, and Hicks against Max Scherzer, who has struck out 7 tonight, but finds himself trailing 3-1. A career year for Giovanni Urshela in his first season as a Yankee in 2019. And it's a leadoff walk, the second one of the ball game, issued by Max Scherzer. So, speaking of adversity, we're dealing with a bit of our own on the telecast tonight. Even though Alex and I and much of our production staff are in the studio, we still have camera operators, of course, at Nationals Park. However, we're being told that there is a lightning warning in the area and that a number of our camera operators have been advised to leave their positions. And there's a bunt for a base hit off the bat of the speedy Tyler Wade.
And I love it. I mean, more teams that can do this play fundamental baseball. Defenses are not used to defending this kind of small ball, and I like it. This is what Wade brings. Watch this bunt. He brings it with him. Sacrifice, tails you win. Heads, you win more. Gets a sacrifice. On top of sacrifice, gets a base hit. Now you got first and second, and the Yankees are set up beautifully.
The art of small ball, once thought to be dead.
It's back.
Here's Aaron Hicks now with runners at first and second. It's the first time the Yankees have put multiple runners aboard against Scherzer tonight. So I was taking your temperature earlier on your thoughts about the universal DH, and you said clearly that you like it a lot.
I like it. I like it a lot. You have guys like Howie who can actually be DHs. You go from playing 2 or 3 days a week to 5 to 6. And let's face it, pitchers are going to miss hitting. We're not going to miss watching them hit. They were 1 for 60 in the postseason last year.
0-1 the count to Hicks. If you like that one, what about starting extra innings with a runner in scoring position? Because that's where the small ball stuff will come along. But a little bit more on the DH first. This is the difference with and without a DH among National League teams. So in other words, in interleague play. And as you can see, all the offensive numbers more robust, if only marginally in some categories. That is with the designated hitter. Urshela and Wade aboard. The 0-2 to Hicks is hit on the ground to the right side. Could be a pair. Instead, the Nationals will settle for getting the middleman off the base paths. Runners at the corners now with 1 gone. So the universal DH and the extra innings rule, that's the one that's been received, I guess, with mixed reviews. Where are you with runner at second to start extra innings?
I love it. Anything in 2020 that's disruptive, that we want to try, that we want to challenge, I like it. And what I like, Matty, it brings baseball fundamentals back in play. It's not just home run and strikeouts. Who can bunt? Who can take the ball with them? Who can hit behind the runner? This is the situation right here. Aaron Judge needs to get this runner in. It doesn't have to be a home run. It could just be a fly ball, put the ball in play.
Here's Aaron Judge now, who has put the ball in play twice. A couple of base hits for him, a single and an RBI double back in the third. Aaron Judge is among the Yankees never to have faced Max Scherzer prior to this evening. He has certainly had the better end of Scherzer tonight. By the way, did you see that cloud?
Yes.
That does not look promising. Let's get Buster on the phone with Mike Trout. He'll have a weather update for us in a flash.
Indeed.
Yeah, once again, a number of our camera operators have left their positions temporarily because of the lightning threat in the area.
Actually, Matt, earlier today, I was texting back and forth with Mike Trout, asked him for a forecast. He said, yeah, you never know about summertime. And sure enough, it's coming in. Jim Cantori, Weather Channel, just said, yeah, it's ramping up. We'll see if lightning follows, likely some rain eventually.
Even the weather's going 2020 on us. It's a big at-bat right here.
Urshela at third, Hicks a runner at first. Ball and 2 strikes, the count to Aaron Judge. Got him. 8 strikeouts tonight, make it 9-9 for Max Scherzer.
And this is a backup slider, toughest hit, righty on righty. Starts right at your hip. And as a right-handed hitter, you just freeze. Bottom of the zone.
So it'll be up to Gleyber Torres. Yankees trying not to squander an opportunity that saw them with runners at first and second and nobody out for the top of the lineup. Torres 0 for 2 so far tonight. 38 homers last year for Gleyber Torres. 13 of them against the Baltimore Orioles. The kind of prolific home run season by a middle infielder that you just don't see come along very often. You, sir, in 1998 and Gleyber Torres last year. Your thoughts? Your thoughts on the 42 dingers you hit that year?
That was a long time ago.
Seriously, do you remember anything about that?
I just remember how much fun it was to play every day. I mean, I had a great bunch of guys, Griffey, Edgar Martinez, Jay Buhner, Randy Johnson, great guys. It was just fun coming out. I had a tremendous manager in Lou Piniella, and being out in Seattle, the Kingdom, it was just a lot of fun.
3 balls and no strikes, the count to Gleyber Torres.
Have a green light here. Neon green for Mr. Torres. Let it rip.
And he lays off a 4-pitch walk issued by Scherzer, and that will load the bases. Reminder, T-Mobile is your ticket to the game now through August 3rd. Customers can score free MLB TV at T-Mobile.com/MLB.
Matty, that was a 4-pitch walk. Scherzer did that only 7 times last year.
His 3rd walk of the ball game, and he's now dealing with Urshela, Hicks, and Torres aboard for the guy that got to him on the 2-run homer back in the first, Giancarlo Stanton.
And if you're Stanton here, you got to be ready to hunt. First pitch, doesn't have to be a fastball, something good out over the plate and let it rip.
Good out over the plate. He let it rip, and it rips into the corner in right field. One run rather will score as Urshela's plated exactly the scenario that you envisioned. And Stanton cashes in for his 3rd RBI of the game.
Yeah. And with a 4-pitch walk to Torres, you know Scherzer's going to attack, try to establish strike 1. Stanton ready to go. Not a bad pitch, but better hitting. Great extension, more fluid Stanton this year. a sign of great things to come for him and the Yanks this year.
Yeah.
Again, Matty, I think going back to no fans in the stands is going to be a really good thing for Stanton. Just one less thing to think about. I know playing in New York, the greatest fans in the world, they're smart, they're intelligent, they're loud, they're also tough. And just a little quiet time for Stanton, shed some weight, less distractions. I expect a big year from the big man.
Well, he could not have gotten off to a better start tonight. Again, 2 for 3, homer, 3 runs batted in, and it's 0-1 now on Brett Gardner. Gardner is strikeout victim in each of his first 2 tries tonight, and behind 0-2. Well, for Stanton last year, only 18 games, and he drove in 13 runs in those 18 games. He's like a quarter of the way toward his RBI total already tonight, as Javi Guerra is up in the Nats bullpen. Nothing in 2 to Gardner with the bases reloaded and a run in.
Yeah, Matt, in his last inter-squad appearance, he threw a total of 87 pitches. That was his 85th pitch of the night. So this might be it for him one way or the other.
And it was a similar line, Buster, the last time Max Scherzer took the mound. That was back on July 18th, an exhibition tune-up against the Phillies. Gave up 7 earned runs on 6 hits, 3 homers in 6 1/3. Four earned runs tonight and counting. And he gets Gardner. 10 strikeouts for Scherzer tonight. But the Yankees scratch across another run. Middle of the 5th, 4-1 New York. ESPN's telecast of opening night baseball presented by John Deere is brought to you by Bud Light. Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. As we welcome back baseball, Major League Baseball would like to honor, remember, and thank the frontline heroes who continue to lift up their fellow citizens during the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you. And now 4-1 Yankee lead for Garrett Cole in his road uniform debut. Kurt Suzuki leads things off. Suzuki, Cabrera, and Andrew Stevenson. Cole gave up the solo homer to Adam Eaton in the first. The only base runner since that, when he hit Eric Thames leading off the second. In a normal season with fans in the ballpark and Garrett Cole debuting as a Yankee at home, you could only imagine the electricity in the air. As it is, his home debut is probably going to feel a lot like tonight.
And you know, in this environment, Matty, some players like Stanton I think will prosper and some will suffer because they feed up the great energy of the fans in New York or your home park.
Suzuki lifts a fly ball out to right for Aaron Judge. But before the game in D.C. tonight, Major League Baseball supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. The Yankees doing the same by taking a knee in unison prior to the national anthem. And then during the playing of the anthem itself, they rose to their feet in unison.
That's great, Matty. And you know, I noticed not just one or two guys, it's both entire teams. And it's because baseball is a tight community. And so many have suffered for so long and are still suffering.
One gone for Asdrubal Cabrera. Yeah, Major League Baseball has made a series of patches available to players this year, allowing them to customize, if you will, a message of support. And as you can see, Gary Sanchez is wearing both of them. One United for Change, the other the Black Lives Matter patch. Two balls and a strike to Asdrubal Cabrera.
Gabe Kapler
doing the same.
Yeah,
both patches.
Both patches. Gabe Kapler, the first manager to kneel. Major League Baseball repost, retweet.
And hammered into the corner and foul. .38 games last year as a National for Asdrubal Cabrera, and he was a big player for them after signing as a free agent. Hit .323, 6 homers down the stretch for the Nats. This year, his role may be even more important than last year.
Absolutely, and you know, he's platooning with the young star Carter Kieboom, and this is an important role for Cabrera. Not only is he a switch hitter who gives you tough at-bats, who plays great defense, and seems to be getting better with age, he's also a mentor, a coach-like to the young Kieboom. I remember coming up with the Mariners, I had Felix Fermin, Luis Sojo. Those were formative years in my career, and I'm so thankful that I had Joey Cora, the Sojos, the Fermins to help me. And Kieboom said, Cabrera's been like a big brother to me. Guys like that type of attitude can extend the career, and big shoes to fill.
Oh yeah, there is a lot of productivity to put back. Just with the defection of Anthony Rendon to the West Coast, signing a lucrative multi-year deal to go to Anaheim. You combine that departure with that of Ryan Zimmerman, their longtime leader who opted out of the season over COVID-19 concerns, and it is a lot of offense to put back. Here's Andrew Stevenson now. Stevenson had a cup of coffee last year, 30 games worth of major league activity, and had some success. 11 for 30 in his part-time duty last season.
Teammate of Astros, Alex Bregman at LSU.
Ball and a strike to count from Cole. Well, the Astros are going to be fascinating this year. Garrett Cole is on the mound tonight wearing a Yankee uniform. Tumultuous offseason in Houston, but they're still pretty good.
Indeed.
You guys saw right there, Dave Martinez said that the big challenge he feels like for the Nationals hitters in this game against Garrett Cole is get the ball down. He likes to elevate the fastball, and they're imploring their hitters, make him stop trying to beat you with that high fastball.
Yeah, easier said than done, as we know.
Especially when you're 0-2, 1-2, and you're behind in the count.
Two gone as Stevenson's unable to hold up.
I mean, here's a guy who's completely changed his style of pitching, has gone from east and west to north and south. You see the four-seamer coming right over the top. You have the slider and the curveball from the same slot. Eliminating the two-seamer, going more north and south, four-seamer on top of the baseball, and that's where the swing and misses come.
Here's Victor Robles now, and Cole has a strike on the corner.
Top of the zone with fastballs, down in the zone with break-up balls and change-ups. '17 Pirates, you can see they're a little bit more east to west. 2019 with the Astros made the adjustment, eliminating the two-seamer.
and going north and south, creating more swing and miss, creating more power, creating the most dominant pitcher in baseball.
I mean, he was good in Pittsburgh, but he wasn't what he is now there.
I go back to that game he lost 4-0 against Arrieta, the wild card game. He was outpitched. Since that game, he's been one of the best pitcher, if not the best pitcher in baseball.
0-2 to Robles. 59 and 42 in 5 seasons as a Pirate. Came out of UCLA as a 1-1 with a lot of fanfare, but by his own admission, he didn't get it back then. It clicked in Houston. Had great success working with their outstanding veteran pitching coach Brent Strom. The Astros unlocked him, and then, as it turns out, would lose him to free agency. Ball and 2 strikes to Victor Robles.
When you have a great talent like Garrett Cole, the difference between good and great being one of the best pitchers in the game is the 1 or 2%. Getting in a little bit better shape, being fit, going to 4-seamer, eliminated the 2-seamer, and just going right to your strength. And that's what Data did, and that's what Houston Astros presented to him, and he executed beautifully.
2 balls and 2 strikes with a man on and 2 gone here. On the corner to ring him up. Still to come tonight, the second end of our opening day doubleheader, the rivalry between the Giants and the Dodgers. A night filled with opening day baseball. That's next on ESPN. Max Scherzer back to work. StatCast powered by Google Cloud. We take a look at the 10 strikeouts that Mad Max has hung tonight. And the slider, as we noted earlier, has been a big pitch for him tonight.
No, we're good.
Most of these coming swinging. But despite the 10 strikeouts for Scherzer, he finds himself trailing 4-1 as the Yankees go to work in their top half of the 6th inning with Gary Sanchez, Luke Voit, and Giovanni Urshela. Geico pitching summary for Scherzer. As we mentioned, the 10 punch-outs. He is 86 pitches into his night. All 4 runs have been earned. He has walked 3 batters, and again, a 4-1 Yankee lead as we start the 6th inning tonight. Gary Sanchez among those who has had the toughest time with that slider. A pair of strikeouts for him. Another one that's buried, and it's 0-2 to Gary Sanchez. One of the questions with the Nationals, and it's getting to that time in the night when it's worth asking, is in regards to their bullpen. They did make some changes down there, but last year the bullpen wasn't solidified really until the very end of the postseason. Sanchez takes a ball out away from him and sends it into foul territory. So how will that bullpen distinguish itself this year? One of the unanswered questions. Eric Fetty is up and throwing. We saw Javi Guerra up throwing earlier.
Matty, there's no question the strength of their team is their starting pitching, that powerful starting pitching. The question mark remains that bullpen and how well they pitch. In order for the Nationals to repeat, the National starters can't be good. They have to be great again.
Ball and 2 strikes to Gary Sanchez. .11 tonight for Max Scherzer. Pleasure to welcome Commissioner Rob Manfred into the telecast tonight, who is among the very few in the ballpark. Commissioner Manfred, thanks for taking some time. We got word of the expanded.
Glad to have a chance.
Yeah, oh, we got a delay too. I should have warned you about that. Okay, here we go. Delay gone. We got word of the expanded format for the playoffs. Commissioner Manfred, tell us all about it. Everybody's really excited.
Well, we're excited about it. We think it's an opportunity for baseball to have 3 great days filled with baseball right at the beginning of the postseason. We think the format is especially good given our shortened season this year. I think it'll be great for fans and great for the players.
Commissioner Manfred, I want to ask you about the leadership of having to direct the efforts to put together all this protocol between the players and the clubs. Just a tremendous job.
Well, thank you. You know, it's a real team effort. You know, putting the protocols together, my staff did a phenomenal job. But really, hats off to the players. They've taken this really seriously. They've adhered to the protocols, and as a result, you know, we've had a relatively low number of positive tests, and it put us in a position to actually play the season that we're hoping to play.
Commissioner Manfred, I want to get back to the expanded postseason for a moment because a lot of viewers are probably hearing about this for the first time tonight. So 8 teams from each league, best overall record in each league gets a first-round bye. Do I have that right?
No. It's going to be 8 teams from each league, the 3 division winners, the 3 second-place teams, and then the next 2 teams with the best record. There will be no first-round byes. It'll be just pure seeding, 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7. And the advantage to winning the division is all 3 games in each series. Yeah, 3-game series, and they'll be played at home, all at the site of the club with the higher ranking.
So no travel day in that 3-game series, expediting things, and the goal being, I'm assuming, to complete a World Series on the same date as if we were working under last year's postseason format?
That's exactly right, man. We're able to put the expanded round in with no travel. We'll still finish the season on September 27th, and the World Series will finish on exactly the same schedule as originally planned. So we won't be playing into November this year.
Well, we're off to a pretty good start tonight, Commissioner Manfred, with what's been a fun ball game to watch. No fans. We wish that was different, but that's kind of out of everybody's control. But the news of expanded postseason play and a full slate of games tomorrow has everybody really excited.
Well, Matt, we're working hard. You know, we know no fans is a very different thing for our fans. We're working really hard to make baseball as entertaining as we possibly can. We think the postseason format's a huge part of that. But, you know, some of the special effects we're using in the game's also interesting. And, you know, tonight's a great example. It's been just a tremendously well-played game.
Rules changes, little wrinkles to what should be a thrilling season, a 60-game sprint to the finish. Look, Alex and I are, hey, wow, we got an electrical show going on over your right shoulder there, Commissioner Manfred. There's lightning in the area.
I don't think I want to turn around and look at that right now. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye. I think I'll stay right where I am.
You know what? We'll let you go just in case you are even anywhere remotely close to harm's way. We do have some rain and lightning in the area. Commissioner Manfred, congratulations on a big announcement today. Thanks very much for your time.
Thanks, guys. It's good to talk to both of you.
Well, here we go with one of the changes, one of the new rules, Alex, because this game is now officially under a rain delay. Now, it happens to be in the top of the 6th inning, and ordinarily you delay it and play to a conclusion. However, had this game been in, say, the 2nd or 3rd inning with a rain delay, under old rules, they would have just started over.
That's right.
This year, there'll be conclusions from wherever the game was called until the end, whether it was after 1 pitch or in the 6th inning, as it is now. So we're under delay, and hopefully this is just a passing thing. I can do a Caddyshack quote at this point, but that's probably overcooked. Yeah, lightning and rain in a 4-1 rain-delayed Major League opening lead for the Yankees.